By the last week of August 2005, we were ready for the final passage of the transatlantic cruise on Sarah, my 42-foot ketch. This passage was from the island of Sao Miguel to Cascais, Portugal, at the mouth of the Rio Tejo. The rum line distance, shown by the straight line on the chart, is about 775 nautical miles. But generally, the rum line course cannot be followed. There is a fairly strong current off the coast of Portugal, pushing vessels to the south. Also, the winds off the coast are generally from the north. When the semi-permanent high pressure over the Atlantic and the low pressure over Iberia are very strong, these winds, often called the Portuguese trades, can become gale force. So the prudent route from the Azores to anywhere on the Portuguese coast is to get well north of the rum line and ride the current and the winds down to the destination. Otherwise, the vessel may end up fighting the current and beating into 25 to 30 knots of wind for the final few days of the passage. Our actual track is shown on this chart. Sarah was berthed at the Ponta Delgada marina, along with several other cruisers with whom we had been spending much of the last 5 weeks as we island hopped our way east from Flores to Sao Miguel. After several provisioning trips to the local supermercado and a potluck dinner on Sarah with the cruising friends we had met in the Azores, we departed Ponta Delgada on the afternoon of August 25th. This is a NOAA surface analysis for the eastern North Atlantic on the morning of our departure. The North Atlantic high pressure was well established west of the Azores, which would bring light to moderate north-northeast winds on our departure. This would make it difficult to get north of the rum line, and we would be on a close reach for the first few days. Joining Mike Repass and myself on this passage was Steve Angst, who has crewed for me on several occasions.
Too late.
As expected, we had light winds on a close reach and were able to sail just above the rum line course. We would have liked to have been sailing 30 to 35 degrees further to the north. This is the surface analysis for the morning of August 27th, our third day at sea. Our track is the blue line on the chart and shows we were just above the rum line course. We needed to get much further north as the Portuguese trades had started to fill in off the coast. So the first time on this Atlantic cruise, we turned on the engine when there was still plenty of wind for sailing. We had to get further to the north, which was directly upwind. For the next 2 days, we kept motoring to the northeast. But whenever it appeared we could sail a reasonable course, we killed the engine. Those periods generally lasted less than a few hours. By the morning of August 29th, we had gotten far enough north to allow us to sail on a more easterly course. Unfortunately, we had also run out of wind and had to keep alternating between motoring and sailing very slowly. During this period, we were also approaching the north-south shipping channels between the ports in the English Channel and the Mediterranean. We started to encounter freighters, which gave me the opportunity to use the target tracking feature on my radar display. I have initiated tracking on a freighter approaching our course from the south. The target is the white circle on the right side of the display. My radar display also transmits this target data on the NMEA network, which connects all my instruments as well as my PC. This is the freighter as it approaches our course. This is an almost trivial crossing, as it was in daylight with fair weather and only one vessel to worry about. This encounter was just practice for the crossings that we would have to manage before this voyage was over. The instrument drops breadcrumbs on the display to mark the track of the crossing vessel. Finally, the freighter crosses our track, about 1/2 nautical mile ahead. This freighter came up on us from the north very quickly. We had to luff up briefly until we were sure it would pass safely ahead.
You're right. That is a tanker. Yeah. I bet you even see a little bit of the prop.
This is the surface analysis for the morning of September 1st as we approached the coast of Portugal. The Portuguese trades were strengthening, and we were glad we had invested those hours motoring to the north. The previous night, Mike prepared our last dinner on board before our arrival in Cascais. Our final dinner in the cockpit. That night, we ran a gauntlet of freighters and fishing trawlers. I set the radar tracking on 4 of the closest vessels, but I could have tracked several more that were in the area. The next morning, we made landfall on the rugged coast of Portugal.
7 miles, 7 yeah, maybe an hour and a half. Nope. Also be a VOR navigation, aerial navigation station. What it all looks like from here. John said you get the lee of the Dodger here. It's actually kind of warm.
Yeah. You believe John everything John said? Remember, John was very long past when he said that. He had at least 2 shirts.
We entered the marina at Cascais a little before noon, and shortly thereafter, Sarah was in a berth. Cascais would be my home for the coming winter.